In this lesson, we are going to learn how to convert from degrees to radians and then from radians to degrees. So let's go ahead and take a look. So what I have here is what we call the unit circle. And so the unit circle is a circle that has a radius of 1 unit, which means if I were to find the circumference of this unit circle, well, I know my formula for circumference is 2 pi r, and since my radius is 1, the entire circumference, so if I were to go all the way around this circle, I know that over here is going to be 2 pi. So I'm going to put a 0 here, because that's 0 degrees. I am first going to go ahead and fill this up with degrees. I know that an entire circle totals 360 degrees. Well, this line, this diameter, splits it in half, which means over here, this is going to be 180 degrees. I also know that I have this vertical line that splits 180 degrees in half, which makes that 90 degrees. And then if I come down to the bottom, if I finish that vertical line, I know that's another 90 degrees from 180, so that's going to be 270 degrees. And over here I end up with 360. Well, from 0 to 90, halfway in between is going to be 45 degrees. So I'm going to mark that as 45 degrees. And then if I come halfway between 90 and 180, I know that's going to be 90 plus 45, which is 135 degrees. Halfway between 180 and 270, well, 180 plus 45 is going to be 225 degrees. And then 270 and 360, halfway in between, we'll add 45 to 270, and I get 315 degrees. So there's that so far. Well, the unit circle is based on our special right triangles, and I know that one of our special right triangles is a 45, 45, 90, and I have the angle of 45. Our other one is a 30, 60 right triangle, which means my very first tick mark after 0 is 30 degrees. After that is going to be 60 degrees. Add 30, so I get 90. Add 30 degrees again, I get 120. Add 30 for this angle, I'm going to get 150. Add 30 for 180. Add another 30 for 210. Add 30 for 240 degrees. Add 30 for 270. Add 30 for 300 degrees. And add another 30 for 330 degrees. So those are our degree measures. That's what our unit circle looks like. And so we have these degree measures that go all the way around. And of course, there's other degrees in between 0 and 30, like 15 degrees. But we're not going to worry about that right now. Now let's go ahead and talk about our radian measure. You watched a video previous to this which described what a radian measure is. So we know that if I go one way or all the way around this circle, that's a total of 2 pi because the radius is 1 and the circumference is 2 pi. Well, if I only go halfway, so if I only go over to 180, half of 2 pi is pi. So 180 and pi are the same thing. Now, between 0 and pi, if I go halfway in between there, well, that would be pi divided by 2. So 90 is pi divided by 2. And if I go halfway, or if I add another half of a pi from 180 to get to 270, this is going to be 3 pi over 2. Okay, well, let's think about the first 0 to 180 degrees. I know it's from 0 to pi. I know halfway is pi over 2. So if I think about 45 degree increments, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in half of pi, or in pi I should say, which means 45 degrees is going to be pi over 4. 90 would be 2 pi over 4, which reduces to pi over 2. 135 would be 3 pi over 4. 180 would be 4 pi over 4. And we know that 4 pi over 4, the 4's cancel, so I just get pi, which is what I should get. So there's 4 pi over 4. 225 degrees is going to be 5 pi over 4. All I'm doing is counting. After 5 becomes 6 pi over 4, which would be 270, and that reduces to 3 pi over 2. 7 pi over 4, would be 315 degrees, and 8 pi over 4. Well, 8 divided by 4 is 2, so I get 2 pi. So there's those increments. Now let's talk about those 30-degree increments. So between 0 and pi, how many 30-degree increments do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means I'm taking pi and I'm dividing it by 6. So 30 degrees is pi over 6, 1 pi over 6. 60 degrees is 2 pi over 6. Well, I know that reduces to pi over 3. 90 would be 3 pi over 6, which reduces to pi over 2. 120 is 4 pi over 6. Well, I know that reduces to 2 pi over 3. 150 would be 5 pi over 6, and that doesn't reduce. 180 would be 6 pi over 6, which reduces to pi. 210 is 7 pi over 6. 240 is 8 pi over 6, but I can reduce that to 4 pi over 3. 270 would be 9 pi over 6, which reduces to 3 pi over 2. 300 is 10 pi over 6. Well, that reduces to 5 pi over 3. 330 degrees is 11 pi over 6. And then back to 2 pi, I end up, or 360 degrees, I get 12 pi over 6, and 12 divided by 6 is my 2 pi. So there we go. That's how we fill out our unit circle, and that's how we can talk about how degrees and radians are alike. Well, what we're going to deal with is this magic combination over here to my left. Pi and 180 degrees. I know that pi is the same as 180 degrees. We're going to use that as our unit conversion. Think of it this way. I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. There's a conversion. I know that pi is equal to 180 degrees. Another conversion, and that's how we're going to use it. So let me scroll down here. If I want to convert from degrees to radians, so if I give degrees, and I need to get that to radians, well, I'm going to multiply it by some conversion. And since degrees are on the top, I know that degrees have to go on the bottom. And when I use my conversion of pi and 180, 180 is the degrees. So 180 degrees goes on the bottom, and pi goes on top. I know that pi divided by 180 represent the same thing. So if I were to divide those out, it just equals 1. If I were to go from radians to degrees, so if I start with radians, I'm going to multiply it by a unit conversion. And since radians are on the top, I want radians on the bottom, which is pi, which means 180 degrees has to go on top. All right, let's go ahead and have some practice. Here are 10 problems. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of them with you, and then I'm going to give you time to do them on your own, and we'll check to see how you did. So for the first one, 325 degrees. So I have 325 degrees, and I have to convert it to radians. Well, since degrees are on top, and I can write 325 as a fraction over 1. Since degrees are on top, in order to get it to cancel, I need to put degrees on the bottom. So I'm going to put 180 degrees on the bottom, and I'm going to put pi on top. Now when we multiply fractions, we take top times top and bottom times bottom. So I get 325 pi over 180. Now the only thing I need to do here is I want to go ahead and reduce this. And so I can reduce this so that it reads 65 pi over 36. So there would be my answer. 325 degrees is the same as 65 pi over 36. Let's check out number 4. So for number 4, just because it's negative, that's just telling me which way to go around my unit circle. If the angle is negative, that's telling me to go clockwise around my unit circle. So normally we read our circle as going counterclockwise, I go in that direction. But if I see a negative, I go clockwise. I always start at 0, but then I go in the clockwise direction. So for negative 4 pi over 3, since pi is on top and I want it to cancel, I'm going to put pi on the bottom and 180 on top. Since I have a pi on the top and the bottom, they cancel out. And I can go ahead and take negative 4 times 180, which would be 720, negative 720. And then I'm going to divide that by 3 times 1 is 3. Well, negative 720 divided by 3 is negative 240 degrees. So go ahead, pause the video. I want you to try numbers 1 through 10. This is your practice for this session. And then come back when you're done. All right, welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and write the answers and you can check to see how you did. 340 is 17 pi over 9. 60 degrees is pi over 3. For number 5, 345 degrees. Number 6, 600 degrees. Number 7, 19 pi over 6. Number 8 is negative 7 pi over 4. Number 9 is 90 degrees. And number 10 is negative pi. So there you go. That's how you can convert from radians to degrees and degrees to radians.